I know a box has come because I got it right here. That's an obvious clue. That's an obvious clue. Maybe you think Boca bearing is to replace worn out ceiling fan bearings? We'll find out. I have ordered 6 15 by 35 by 11 millimeter ceramic hybrid deep groove ball bearings. And these are what they are. They're not much to look at. They're a ball bearing. Here's the ceramic bearing, ceramic hybrid. And here's a standard steel ball bearing. It looks almost identical. So these are, like I said, these are a ceramic hybrid. So the outside race, the inside race, the ball cage, and the shields are all stainless steels. And the ball themselves are all ceramic. So like I said and mentioned in the last video, or whatever video it was, when I was taking apart this old ceiling fan, that all you hear is bearing noise. So, and of course, bearings don't free spin unless they're a fidget spinner type bearing. But these ones, after running for 17 years, 24/7, are fidget spinner quality now. So one's fidget spinner. This one's a little bit more stiffer, but it's got a little grinding in it. But it does loosen up. It finds that sweet spot. So that's that. These little guys, there's no free spinning. It's doing what a bearing is supposed to do. It just turn. And they spin and feel very smooth. Because this is my first ceramic hybrid I've ever had, and they're nice compared to these old crappy ones. So since these are shielded, that means I can inject grease in them, and that's what I'm going to do. And I have to see if my bearing greaser will work on these, because these are, to me, these are huge compared to what I normally use. So let me get my greaser out. And this is my hobby, or RC hobby, controlled bearing greasing packer gadget thingy tool. And it's called the greaser. And it says pack shielded bearings with the greaser. And of course it's for any small bearings, helicopters, RC cars, anything that takes a ball bearing. And it's meant for a certain size bearing. No, it's not a sex toy. Even though it looks like an anal plug. So this has 2 parts. The plunger, which holds all the grease, this part, this white part, slides down, and as it slides down, it pushes grease up. And you push with this pusher tool. So you have a bearing sitting on here, and you take this, and it fits this inner race of the bearing, and you push it, and as you push it, it's the new grease is literally going in this groove right here, this center groove here, and then when it comes out the other side, it comes out this side on the same size. So it's actually going in there and pushing whatever's in there out and out, and new grease goes in. So let me show you what grease I use. I'll be right back. So when I bought this thing, the place where I bought it from recommended a type of grease to use in the RC world, helicopters or RC cars or whatever bearings, and it's the Lubriplate EMB. So what that means is electric motor bearing, and it's a polymer grease. Electric motor bearing grease, and it's specifically designed for motor ball bearings. So whether it's a regular fan motor or a regular work motor or anything like that, and it's a long-lasting, water-resistant polymer type grease formulated especially for the lubrication of electric motor and fan bearings. Ball and roller bearings. Works well with other wide temperature, over a wide temperature range. So this is meant for running in electric motors, which that's exactly what it's going in. And it's a white grease, and it's a polymer grease, so it's a synthetic polymer hybrid or whatever, and that's what's in this plunger, as you can see. So my concerns was this is meant for smaller bearings, and this to me is quite a large bearing. So the first thing is, does the plunger pass through the middle of the hole or not? Oh, good. I got probably a fraction of a millimeter to push. And then on the greaser here, it's pretty much going to sit on the, probably within this groove on the outside of the bearing, and that's exactly where it's going to sit. So when I bought these bearings, you can buy, there's a whole plethora, a small selection of bearings that you can buy that have different types of greases in it. So I picked whatever, and it was $48 a bearing, so quite a bit of money to put into a ceiling fan. But whatever grease in here is not adequate in my little world here. So I'm gonna take whatever is here and push it out and have this good grease in here. So I'll zoom you in here. And then point you down a little bit to the greaser, and not me. And we'll get you focused. And I'll have to do it manually because the camera doesn't want to behave. Look, camera, see how easy it is? All you gotta do is just focus in on that, you silly thing. So now we're going to just make a huge mess here. This is a messy process. It's not neat. And we're just going to push. until I fill this bearing. Oh, here it comes. See it coming out? Looks like caramel. So that's more than adequate to displace the old, or I should say, contaminated grease. And then the next thing you do is we're going to get a bunch of paper towels and clean that up. So all we're going to do is just grab some paper towels here. We'll put that there. We'll move this out of the way. We'll take some Q-tips, and we'll just wipe this hybrid of a mess of grease here, and we'll clean this off. So now this bearing is packed with an excellent grade grease that will probably make these bearings last just about forever. Because like I mentioned in my video of playing around with a Vornado 610 DC, that fan has ball bearings in it, and I did the same thing with them bearings, and unfortunately I never recorded the first time the bearings, but pretty much a similar scenario happened when I pushed the old grease out. It was a nasty blend of whatever grease that they used. And then the next time I serviced that fan, which was pretty much a year later or so, just for shits and giggles, I decided to take the bearings out and push a little more grease in. And the grease was just about as white as when it went in the first time a year ago. So now we have an officially a good packed bearing with the good stuff. And just to kill a few more minutes, we'll do another one, because each ceiling fan takes 2 bearings. And of course, if you heard my story on when I was taking apart an older fan, that the brand new one in here, I call him Knocky now, or Clicky the ceiling fan. He's gonna, hopefully these bearings are the same size as that one, because I'm going to take that fan down, rip that motor apart, and I'm going to put a set of these suckers in there, and that should quiet him up for a very, very, very long time. So I don't know if these little tools are around anymore. I found these on a RC Helicopter online store, so I have no idea if this thing is still made. So, if you're interested in looking for one, you just Google search the greaser and see what you come up with. Don't know if it's still available, but I'm glad I have mine, and I find this tool very useful. And I'm out of grease. So now we will refill the system. So all you got to do is just sort of grab a hold of this thing. Of course, it's going to be under some suction. So that's all that is. It's just an empty chamber with a plastic, polymer or whatever that was CNC'd in an O-ring to make a tight seal. So now we'll just refill it. We'll get some grease and whatever utensil to scoop this out. And we'll just refill this thing. And like I said, this is refilling this and packing new grease in the bearings. It's a little bit of a messy job, but the benefits outweigh the messiness. So now we're ready to rock and roll again. Just sort of flatten this out a little bit. And we'll get the bearing that I was working on. Stick that back in there. And we'll continue on. So probably somebody will say that, such a waste of a mess to go through this process. But the benefits of taking this whatever grease out, which you don't really know how good of a grade it is, what its character is, and how well it stands up over time. But it's like packing any other grease bearing in with grease. It's a messy process. It's nothing neat and clean about it. You just go through the process. And just make it happen and get her done. So now I have a set of 2 of these ceramic hybrids that are ready to go into service. So now the next video will be of me installing these 2 freshly packed bearings into an old semi-retired ceiling fan. So stay tuned, and if you haven't already subscribed, so you can check that channel and check my channel out and see that video of me installing these nice ceramic hybrid bearings into an older ceiling fan, and get that up and running for a spare, because it never hurts to have spares, because the saying goes is, like in my indication, 4 is better than 3, and 3 is better than 2, and 2 is better than 1, and 1 is none, as in the backup department for ceiling fans. So 2 will be on standby, which will be on standby, you know, for quite a length of time, maybe decades. And then eventually I'll have to take Clicky, the ceiling fan, down in here and rebuild him. So he'll have a nice quiet operation instead of clicking and knocking. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.